we're going to make soy milk. Soy milk is used as a binding agent for dyeing, painting, and printing fabric with earth pigments, natural dyes, watercolors, you name it. So what I have here is I have an empty pickle jar. It's a 1 gallon jar. Over here I have a jar that has been soaking beans for a couple of days. Yeah, show you there. It's a little frothy on top. I started these, today is Friday afternoon, I started these Wednesday night. Typically you want to soak them and then the next morning, if you put them on to soak overnight, the next morning you want to drain them and make your soy milk. However, I kind of got behind the 8 ball and did not. Here's what the beans look like before they are ground up in the blender. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strain my beans. Got a piece of cloth here. It's just some netting. And I'm going to take the juice off these beans that have been soaking. And I'm going to put the remainder of these beans in the blender. And it might be wise to do these a couple of batches at a time. So I'm going to set this juice here aside. As you can see, it has kind of a, geez, how can I get this so you can see it? Kind of a yellowish look to it. Doesn't quite look like soy milk yet. I'm going to take some of these beans out of the blender. These smaller batches. To my blender, I'm going to add distilled water. I get the distilled water from my dehumidifier. And then I'm just going to puree this. You could use a food processor if you don't have a blender. Let's see. Oh yes, that's working good. I put it on liquefy instead of puree. And then what I'm going to do is, here you can see that the color is no longer clear, it's white-ish. Kind of with almost an ecru color to it. I'm going to grind out just a little bit more. I had quite a few beans in there. Then I'm going to take my strainer again. Over here I'm going to move my blender out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. Put my strainer in here. Let's see. There you go. And then I'm just going to add this soy milk that I just blended up into the juice that I collected from earlier. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to take this soybean mash. You can see it looks sort of like oatmeal. It's just ground beans. And I'm going to put it over with water and soak it again tonight. Or maybe for a few hours. It just depends. I added a little bit more water to my pitcher so that I could get the excess off of this. And it'll take a little while for this to strain through. It's a very interesting texture. Then once have this all collected, I will put it in the refrigerator overnight, and then tomorrow I will paint my fabric with it, and then proceed. After the fabric is dried, I will start applying pigments to my fabric for a design that I'm working on. And that is all there is to making soy milk. It is actually really that simple.